you know, being a parent, it's like you sign up for a lifetime of adventures, right?
Hmm.
And some of those adventures, well, let's just say they come with a side of, oh my gosh, how do I handle this moments?
Definitely.
And today we're diving into one of those moments, teenage romance. But, and this is a big but, we're adding that layer of complexity, guiding autistic teens through this, well, this exciting, often confusing territory.
It's a topic, honestly, I think a lot of parents wish they had like a guidebook for,
Oh, 100%.
which is where this article from Cheapaba comes in. Cheapaba is a fantastic website, by the way, dedicated to, providing really accessible resources for families with autistic individuals.
I love that they called this piece Navigating Attraction and Romantic Feelings,
Hmm.
a guide for parents. Because navigating, that's the perfect word here, don't you think? It's not about having all the answers right.
Right.
It's about figuring things out alongside our kids.
Absolutely. And you know what's refreshing about this guide? It starts with understanding before action. It recognizes that for some autistic teens, even understanding what attraction feels like, that might require a different approach.
It's like learning a whole new language, isn't
It
it?
can, yeah.
Not just the language of butterflies in your stomach, but like the way others express those feelings, which, let's be honest, can be a minefield of social cues.
Exactly. This article, it dives into the importance of explaining different forms of attraction, to a different gender, the same gender, all genders. It really encourages parents to create that safe space for their child to explore these feelings, recognizing that their experience might be different from their own, and that's perfectly okay.
It's about honoring their unique journey, right? But of course, it's not all about internal feelings, right? We
Right.
also want our teens to be able to like recognize those signals in others. And this is where things can get a little, you know,
Tricky.
tricky. Exactly.
The article really, really focuses on this idea that autistic teens might miss those subtle cues of attraction or even misread them entirely. Think of it like social cues or this unspoken language, right? And this article gives you like a translation guide for your teen.
Yeah, that's such a brilliant way to put it. So how does this translation guide actually like work in practice? The article mentioned, I think, using visual aids, which I thought was incredibly clever.
Yeah, visuals are so powerful, right?
Really.
The article suggests, for example, using picture charts to show the difference between, say, flirty behavior, like leaning in, laughing, initiating conversation, versus like signs of disinterest, avoiding eye contact, crossed arms, that kind of thing.
Oh, the classics.
And the classics, exactly.
Yeah, it's all about giving those concrete examples because what seems obvious to us might not be to someone who processes the world a little differently. And this is where having those conversations, even if they feel a little awkward, early and often can make a world of difference.
I completely agree. And it leads into another really crucial aspect the article highlights, helping teens express their own romantic feelings appropriately.
Okay, this is where I imagine a lot of parents, myself included, might take a deep breath and think, all right, how do we handle this one?
It's natural to feel a little apprehensive.
Yeah.
But remember, the goal is to empower your teen, right? To like navigate these situations with confidence.
So the article talks about like setting those clear expectations, right? Like maybe even creating like a visual reminder sheet. Like, if someone says no to a romantic advance, it's important to respect that boundary, right?
Absolutely.
And I loved how they suggested explaining that, if someone makes an excuse like twice, it's probably time to move on, it gives that concrete guideline, which I feel like can be so helpful for teens who thrive on that clarity.
100%. It takes the guesswork out of it,
Exactly.
And, this focus on like clear communication, it actually ties into another crucial aspect that the article highlights, managing sensory sensitivities.
That's a big one.
We can't really talk about relationships on the spectrum, I don't think, without acknowledging that physical touch, while it's, common, even expected for a lot of people, can be really uncomfortable for others.
It's about understanding that affection can be expressed in so many different ways. And that's a really beautiful thing.
It is. And this article really gets that. It encourages parents to have those open and honest conversations, right? About touch,
Yeah.
about boundaries, and about finding those alternative ways to show affection that feel, authentic and comfortable.
Mhm.
It highlights, for example, focusing on shared interests, quality time, acts of service, things that might actually resonate more deeply than a hug or a kiss for some autistic teens.
Yeah, it's about finding what feels good and authentic for them.
Right.
I-
Exactly. Yeah.
And that actually segues perfectly, I think, into another point this article made that I thought was really insightful and important, actually.
Hmm.
Respectful relationships.
Yeah.
And it might seem obvious, right? Like, of course, we want our kids to be in respectful
Yeah.
relationships.
Right.
But defining what that actually means,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's so crucial.
It is, because we kind of assume, don't we, that everyone's working with the same definition.
Right, we do.
But this article does a nice job of like really breaking it down, talking about things like mutual respect, consent, open communication, support. It even provides examples of like red flags to watch out for, like a lack of attention, hurtful words, or feeling pressured to do something you're not comfortable with.
And those are things, honestly, every teenager, on or off the spectrum,
Yeah.
needs to learn about.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
It's fundamental.
It's fundamental.
And while these are important for all teens, I think where this article really shines is in its sensitivity to, the unique challenges and strengths that autistic teens specifically bring to relationships. And it doesn't like shy away from the tough stuff either.
No, it doesn't.
Like breakups.
Oh, yeah.
Those are hard for anyone.
True.
But for someone on the spectrum, processing those emotions can be even more complex.
It's heartbreaking to think about, as a parent.
It is.
You just want to, like, take that pain away, But you can't.
You can't. And the article recognizes that, and it talks about the range of emotions that your teen might experience, sadness, confusion, anger, and it validates those feelings. It says, like, these are a normal part of the process, and, bottling things up. It only makes it harder in the long run.
And you mentioned anger, right?
Yeah.
And that made me think about another point the article raised that's so relevant, especially in today's world. Digital boundaries. Like sending that heat of the moment text message when you're feeling super raw post breakup. Probably not the best move.
No, definitely not. It's like throwing gasoline on a fire.
Right. The worst.
And the article, I think, does a great job of emphasizing that, like, we need to equip teenagers with those, those coping mechanisms, right? To like remind them that, hey, you're not alone in these experiences, and there are healthy ways to like channel those big feelings.
And this is where those, those open lines of communication with you as the parent become even more crucial.
Yeah.
Because even with all the tools in the world, it's that unwavering support system,
Yeah.
that can make all the difference. Knowing they have that safe space to land, to like process those emotions without judgment. That's invaluable.
It really is. And, reading through this piece, I think what really struck me is how much it emphasizes the parents' role, not just as guides, but as learners too. It's about approaching this whole like realm of teenage romance with curiosity and empathy, recognizing that our own experiences, they might not perfectly map onto our teens.
It's like that saying, like, everyone's journey is different. And that's definitely true when we're talking about neurodiversity, right?
Yeah.
What resonates with one teen might not with another, and that's okay.
Exactly. And being open to having those like sometimes uncomfortable conversations, those wait, what moments. That's how we build a foundation of trust and understanding. It shows our kids that we're in their corner no matter what.
So for all the parents listening out there, maybe feeling a little, overwhelmed by this whole teenage romance thing, what's the key takeaway you want them to walk away with?
I'd say approach it with an open mind, an open heart. Listen to your teen. Validate their feelings. And remember, like, there's no one-size-fits-all approach here, right? This article provides, like, a roadmap, but your journey with your teen is unique. You're the expert on your child. Trust your instincts.
That's beautifully said. And if I can add one final thought, don't forget to take care of yourself too, right? Navigating your child's journey through romance, it can bring up all sorts of emotions for you as well.
It's true.
Remember those like self-care strategies we talk about? Now's the time to like put them into practice.
Yeah. It's a roller coaster for everyone involved.
It really is.
Be kind to yourself. Reach out for support when you need it. And remember, you're doing a great job.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about connection, isn't it?
It is.
Helping our teens build healthy, fulfilling relationships, whatever those might look like for them. And that's something worth celebrating.
Absolutely. And on that note, I think let's wrap up this deep dive. Until next time, keep those conversations flowing, keep learning, and keep exploring.